Hi there, welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. Today is the start of World Immunization Week, which is being celebrated under the theme, The Big Catch-Up. We here in Jamaica join the rest of the world in raising awareness on the need to vaccinate against preventable diseases. This take-up of vaccines, particularly among the young, is important in ensuring that Jamaica remains the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and of course, do business.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Good day, I'm Adrian Atkinson and this is your JIS News for Monday, April 24, 2023. Rehabilitation of the Epworth Feeder Road in St. Anne is facilitating increased access to educational institutions and easier commuting for motorists. It has also resulted in approximately 25% increase in crop production due to enhanced access and mobility across the rural community. Prime Minister Andrew Holness officially opened the 3-kilometre parochial roadway on Friday. Work was carried out at a cost of $109 million, of which $4 million was contributed by citizens. The project was spearheaded by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, with financing provided under the Caribbean Development Bank's Basic Needs Trust Fund. Mr. Holness said the government would be continuing work in the community to address water shortage and improvement of feeder roads.
We made a commitment to reduce this pain point of your bad road, and it was delivered. The commitments that we have made here today regarding your water, that is a commitment. In terms of the continuation of the road, more thought needs to be put into it as to what will be the impact of making that road more accessible. What will it do to the community?
The completion of the pipeline replacement project in Mitchelltown, Clarendon, has rekindled the hopes of many residents who had been without running water for decades. The $25 million project was completed through a collaboration between the National Housing Trust and the National Water Commission. As he commissioned the pipeline into service, Minister with responsibility for water, Senator Matthew Samuda, said government will be undertaking more rural area projects in the financial year.
This year, this government is deploying $7 billion Jamaican dollars for capital projects in water.
For years we have been carrying water on our heads with buckets and everything, and now we can turn on the shower 100%. And I'm grateful and thankful for that. It's a blessing for my community.
Meanwhile, Agriculture Minister Pernell Charles Jr., who is a Member of Parliament for the area, says other initiatives are in the works for Mitchelltown. They include a bicycle route and the repair of fish ponds to boost employment in the area.
I want all residents and all of Jamaica to know that it is not by coincidence that you are seeing upgrades not only in the water networks, but in the road networks across Jamaica. And Mitchelltown is a beneficiary of both.
Patient care at the Bustamante Hospital for Children is set to be boosted with the introduction of several development projects in the works. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the projects, which are at various stages of completion, include the provision of additional bed spaces and the build-out of an overnight parent suite. There's also the introduction of the Animal-Assisted Recovery Program, the renovation of the Accident and Emergency Waiting Area, as well as the implementation of an electronic health record system.
We talk about the need for technology. The ultimate technology is creating a virtual space for patient records to be logged, for telemedicine to be activated, for reduction of transaction time and transaction cost, so that we can optimize the efficiency when a patient comes in. We don't need to send for a paper-based record. Sometimes it gets lost, mislaid. Doctor have to assess the entire history of the patient before they can provide a proper prognosis as to how to move forward.
Dr. Tufton was speaking at the recent media launch of the hospital's 60th anniversary celebrations. Several activities will take place leading up to and after the Bustamante Hospital for Children 60th anniversary celebration on November 6th this year. They include an open day and health fair, sports day, church service, and the Dr. Leela Winter commemorative conference, as well as a staff awards ceremony. President of the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, IMAJ, Lenworth Kelly, says a wide range of factors must be taken into consideration before constructing a building due to Jamaica's susceptibility to natural disasters. Speaking with JIS News recently, the IMAJ president says the impact of disasters such as earthquakes, wind and storm surges are crucial issues that cannot be ignored. Speaking specifically to earthquakes, Mr. Kelly says mitigation is the best action to safeguard infrastructures and preserve lives.
So we indeed are in an area where it's really critical for us to focus on how we design, then how we analyze, how we design, and then how we build, because that is your mitigation. In an earthquake, you have no prior warning. You respond. So it's either it was correct or it wasn't.
The Master Builders Association president believes that all relevant agencies must play their parts to ensure that buildings, if possible, will withstand the effects of an earthquake.
And so the oversight is provided by the design team. It's provided by all of these agencies that regulate the practice of building construction, so to speak. And so with all hands on deck, that is how we get infrastructure and building structures that can mitigate the effects of earthquakes.
And finally, tourism workers will benefit from the construction of 2,500 houses in the next 5 years. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett gave the update during his contribution to the opening of the 2023-24 sectoral debate.
That is not to conflate what currently is happening with the NHT program, where Estuary, for example, is doing 3,000 houses, of which the tourism workers in St. James and Hanover can benefit directly.
Minister Bartlett says tourism workers will also benefit from 784 units under construction at the Ryan Park Estates and the NHT development of 1,286 units in Barrett Hall. Meanwhile, the Tourism Ministry, through the Tourism Enhancement Fund and the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHTA, are in discussions to develop a housing program for tourism workers.
The JHTA and ourselves are now fine-tuning a model similar to the Prime Minister's social housing model, where we from the TEF will put $100 million and they will match it to make sure that we can have 20 houses for workers of the industry every year for the next 5 years. And this will be under the social housing model. So the workers won't have to pay for it. They are in a position of need. We know the need, we recognize the difficulty, and from their own companies, they will be selected.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
Transformations 2023, People, Quality and Technology is a public exposition of the JCF by the JCF for all our stakeholders, and that means you. Between May 11 and 14 at the National Arena in Kingston, you will meet our people. We'll share many of our new and emerging police technologies. We'll provide insights into our quality journey, a journey of transforming the service you get at our stations, on the road, and anytime or anywhere you need us. We'll demonstrate to you how we are building, how we are transforming, and how we are improving to serve you better. This is my personal invitation to journey with us. Join us at the Expo. Experience a side of the JCF you have never seen before. Transformations JCF 2023. People, quality, and technology. See you there.
While Jamaica and the rest of the world will be working assiduously, particularly this week, to catch up on lost progress in essential immunization due to COVID-19, the country is already up to speed in providing maternal health care. Find out more next.
Provision of prenatal support as well as timely management and treatment can make the difference between life and death for mothers as well as their babies.
You recognize that some mothers don't turn up until the baby is literally ready to be delivered.
Government intends to change that with a maternal and a newborn health initiative called Start Right.
Start Right brings before us a tremendous opportunity to improve our maternal health offerings, but even in a broader sense, the family. Ensuring a mother's well-being before, during, and after pregnancy will enable her for better care for herself and her newborn.
The program forms part of government's effort to reduce the maternal mortality ratio to 70 per 100,000 live births by the year 2030. Jamaica's maternal mortality rate at 2018 ranges 93.5 per 100,000 live births.
We have some targets that we focus on. In Jamaica, we are trying to reduce our maternal mortality ratio to 70 per 100,000 live births by the year 2030. We're some ways from that. We, I am told, are 110 per 100,000. In 2016, we had gone down to 93.5 per 100,000 in 2018, and the preliminary data in 2019-2020, those terrible COVID years, suggest that it has inched back up. I don't have the specific number, but that's something that we have to keep working towards.
With Start Right, vulnerable mothers and their babies will now have greater access to diagnostic services across the public health system. The initiative is a partnership involving the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the American Friends of Jamaica, AFJ, and the Jamaicans Abroad Helping Jamaicans at Home, JAJA Foundation. Included in the supplies are handheld ultrasound machines or butterfly monitors. The portable devices, supported by iPad technology, will enable early and rapid diagnosis, such as screening for birth or heart defects, prenatal testing, and checks for pregnancy complications.
So we're focusing on pregnancy with the donation of and the provision of training on the use of these portable ultrasound machines, and after pregnancy with the donation of needed supplies to aid in the care of both mother and child, which is very important.
This device is truly a game changer. For example, instead of bringing patients to another department to have an ultrasound being done, this device is 100% portable and can be placed in the doctor's pocket, as I just demonstrated. And you can see here, truly streamlining patient care.
We hope that we will actually move on to phase 2. Our goal is to have these handheld devices in as many doctors' pockets as possible.
In the initial phase, 100 adolescents and other vulnerable mothers will receive snuggle nests, a portable infant lounger bed, as well as essential items including diapers and skincare, oral care, and hygiene products.
This snuggle nest will also be critical. The intention is to use it, starting with vulnerable mothers as a pilot, and hopefully incentivize them to come to the clinic for prenatal care, and then hopefully allow the health system, doctors and nurses, to better understand their particular circumstances and give the babies and mothers the best possible outcome.
The benefiting facilities are spread across the island and include Victoria Jubilee, Kingston Public, Cornwall Regional, Black River, Savannah Lamar, St. Anne's Bay, Maypen, Princess Margaret, Mandeville Regional and Spanish Town Hospitals, and the University Hospital of the West Indies. And by March, plans are in place to expand the program to aid 2,000 expectant mothers. The Start Right program, giving vulnerable mothers and their babies a head start at life.
Hi Jamaica, this is Pernell Charles Jr., your Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries. April is recognized as Farmers Month, and that's the time for us to celebrate our noble, hardworking and resilient farmers and fishers. Our food heroes have led Jamaica through some of the most difficult times. Whether it is pandemic, global conflict or climate change, you have continued to persist and exceed expectations. So we want to thank you for 7 consecutive quarters of growth in the agricultural sector, and assure you that the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries will continue to give the necessary support so that you can continue to be the food heroes that you are. Farming is viable and food security is everybody's business. So, as we celebrate Farmers Month, we want to urge all Jamaicans to get on board and grow smart and eat smart. One love.
Food, whether hot and spicy, sweet or savory, whatever you like. Did you know that the fat in our foods can be good or bad? This awareness should determine your intake. Listen closely to this feature as we tell you more.
The human brain is 60% fat. Fats provide a storehouse of energy for the body and promote normal cell growth and healthy skin. Fat also acts like a cushion and heat regulator to protect the heart, liver, and other vital organs. And as most people would know, fat adds flavor to our food and helps us feel full longer. It is clear that having fat in our diet is beneficial in many ways, but too much or the wrong kind can be equally harmful. Fat is a source of essential fatty acids which help the body absorb vitamins A, D, and E. There are 3 types. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids are both considered good fats. The third, saturated fatty acid, is what we are often encouraged to avoid or lower our intake. So too, trans fat, which is created by a process called hydrogenation that makes the fat harder at room temperature to increase the shelf life.
What is in our foods impact on the quality of our lives?
The World Health Organization recommends that trans fat intake be limited to less than 1% of total energy intake, which translates to less than 2.2 grams per day with a 2,000 calorie diet.
Studies have shown that saturated fat increases the amount of bad cholesterol or LDL in the blood and has no effect on the good cholesterol, HDL. Trans fatty acids increase the amount of bad cholesterol in the blood and also reduce the amount of good cholesterol. Diets high in these bad fats are linked to obesity, heart disease, and other cardiovascular related problems. Trans fat also causes malformation of cell membranes and other cell structures in the body, leading to weak cell walls and abnormal cell function. They are not recognized by enzymes and can cause neural degeneration and diminished brain function. So why then is trans fat used? Well, taste and economics. Trans fat makes food stay fresh on the shelf longer and improves food texture and flavor stability. Based on a 2021 assessment of the fatty acids in commonly consumed foods in Jamaica, our intake is very high.
If you look at confectionery, you see how high the percentages there, and it comes down in several of the other food products. Okay, this is just the percentage that have trans fat. Notice that the canned foods had none at all, or the beverages that we looked at had no trans fat. Okay? But this is just saying whether there was trans fat in the product. What we are even more interested in is which products had high levels of trans fat. In terms of the highest concentrations, more than 2% of fat as trans fat, we see the dairy products, and it goes down like that. And then when we now look at those that had the same products that had
high saturated fat along with the trans fat. We see the figures here.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is looking to change this and encourage better food production and consumption practices.
Healthier alternatives can be used that do not affect the taste or the cost of food.
Knowing what is in our food is part of the way forward. It is a lifestyle change to come through education, product reformulation, regulation, food labeling, and monitoring.
The elimination of industrially produced trans fats is part of a comprehensive policy package to prevent diet-related NCDs, which comprises mandatory food labeling, ingredients lists, nutrition panels declaring trans fats, interpretive front-of-package labeling based on nutrient profiles, restrictions on food marketing aimed at children and adolescents, mandatory standards for healthy food served in schools, and limits on sugar content.
It's not just about our resolve to do the right thing to consume what is in our best interest. That in and of itself is a challenge, because we have to now nudge, encourage, motivate, and in some instances legislate, I believe, certain types of actions to encourage better quality of life from a nutrition consumption standpoint. I think it is essential to advocating in the first instance for voluntary compliance as an immediate response.
As consumers, we have the choice of using naturally occurring unhydrogenated vegetable oils such as canola, safflower, sunflower, or olive oil. We can also limit red meat and choose lean cuts. It is also recommended that we steam, boil, or bake foods instead of cooking them in fats or oils. Another approach is to choose low-fat dairy products, poultry, and fish, and purchase processed foods made with unhydrogenated oils rather than partially or hydrogenated vegetable oils or saturated fats. Use soft margarines as a substitute for butter and choose soft margarine over the harder stick forms. Limit consumption of commercially fried foods and baked goods made with shortening or partially hydrogenated vegetable oils. Not only are these high in fat, but it is also likely to be trans fat. And cut back on foods high in dietary cholesterol. Let's eat healthy and live well.
Yes, walk right over there and drop it in the bin. Reuse that wastewater from your kitchen for the garden. Get your hands dirty and plant a tree. Farmers, hold off on the pesticides, especially near our rivers. Do your part to protect our watersheds so we can preserve the source of our drinking water. Every act to protect our watersheds counts. Start now.
The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. If you believe wholeheartedly in this quote, then you more than anyone will understand the 3 million trees in 3 years initiative being spearheaded by the Jamaican government. Take a look.
Climate change is real. We must address it in order to secure our future. Our children are depending on us.
And so the government has launched an initiative which will see a tree being planted for every Jamaican on the island. These 3 million trees will be planted over a 3-year period across the length and breadth of Jamaica land we love.
Planting trees, of course, is one of the ways in which Jamaica is taking deliberate, strategic, and decisive action to mitigate the effects of climate change.
The program will be managed by the Forestry Department with support from the European Union's Development Fund.
Our aim is to improve the resilience of our coasts, hillsides, and plains, while also improving the beauty of our urban centers, major thoroughfares, parks, and the added effect of offsetting greenhouse gas emissions.
All the trees that we are planting will be for nothing if we don't deal with the issue of the degradation of the forests. Ladies and gentlemen, if our forests are cut down without regard for sustainable forest management, we all know that our watersheds and our water supply challenges will worsen.
The 3 Million Trees initiative will focus on 3 main areas.
It would be one that protects our coast, including mangroves, one that does general forestation, one that includes urban forestation, and on the other side,
we're going to have a national fruit tree planting program of 3 million fruit trees to be planted as well.
In addition to 1,000 Hope interns that will benefit under the program, employment opportunities will be provided for persons from communities adjacent to areas to be planted.
2 million timber seedlings will be planted on over 3,000 hectares of land managed by the Forestry Department. The department will distribute the remaining plants, a mixture of timber and ornamentals, to the public.
We want to get more of the private sector adopting hillsides. These are lands that we manage, that we want to just take charge and be responsible for the maintenance of all of that.
To ensure that the seedlings remain viable and transition into healthy forest, a mobile app using GPS technology is being finalized. This private-public sector partnership will see the monitoring and tracking of the plant's progress.
Because it's nice that we plant the trees today, we take a lot of pictures and everything, but what happened to those trees afterwards? So we really want everybody to ensure that the trees we plant today, we return to them, ensure that they are still growing, and check on the trees we planted last year.
The challenge has been thrown out. Will you answer the call? Will you dedicate a portion of your land for planting trees? Will you adopt a hillside to stop landslides? Will you ensure that the trees you've planted are nurtured? We can do it. We should do it. We must do it.
It is hope that this action will ignite in every single Jamaican the understanding, the will and the commitment to play their part in securing Jamaica's environment and making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and retire in paradise.
Thank you for being with us today on Jamaica Magazine. Remember to tell a parent, family member, or friend about the importance of getting a child or themselves immunized. And don't forget that an open mind is like an open window. It lets the fresh air in. Join us again tomorrow as we take you on another interesting journey. Until then, you can visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.